students, our today's topic is principles of prevention. So we'll try to understand principles of prevention. There are two ways in which principles of prevention work. First way is the general way, and second method or second way to do it is in a specific way. So we'll try to understand both general as well as specific ways of principles of prevention. So we'll start with the general ways. Here general ways, they applies to all type of infectious diseases. They are not specific, like in case of specific, that the method will apply only to one type of disease, only one type of infectious agent. But in case of general ways, these ways applies to many infectious agents as a group together. So we'll try to understand what are these general ways. First, we'll see that what happens in the general ways. In general ways of principles of prevention, we prevent the exposure to infectious agents. Whatever infectious agents are there for different infectious diseases, we need to prevent exposure to those infectious agents. But the question is how we can prevent the exposure to various types of infectious agents. Now, the way to prevent the exposure depends on the nature of the infectious agent. Like there are different categories, as you can see. There are airborne microbes, there are waterborne microbes, and there are vector-borne microbes. So, method or the ways in which we prevent the exposure will depend on these categories. So, first we will start with the airborne microbes. If you want to prevent exposure to airborne microbes, then what we need to do? We need to avoid overcrowded places, and we also need to put on mask. Second category is waterborne microbes. How we can prevent exposure to waterborne microbes is by drinking safe or clean water. Is the only way we can prevent the exposure to waterborne microbes. Third category is vector-borne infections. How to prevent exposure to such microorganisms that uses the vectors for spreading the disease. The only way is to maintain the public hygiene. There should not be garbage lying around here and there. Dustbin should be covered, and water should not be stagnant. So all in all, what we have to do in this category, we will remove all the breeding places for the vectors. Right? So these are the general ways that applies to more than one type of a disease. Here you can see doing this, avoiding crowded places and putting on mask will save you from most of the types of airborne infections. Similarly, this also, if you are drinking clean water, then exposure to many types of waterborne microbes will be prevented. Right? That's why these are called general ways of principle of prevention. Now we'll see the specific ways of principles of prevention. It is here on this side. Here we uses a peculiar property of immune system. We know that all the people who are living in conditions that may promote the spread of infection, in those conditions, all people, all children, all persons living in those conditions, they don't catch the disease. Right? Only people those who have weak immune system, they catch the disease. So here, in addition to all the factors that promote the spread of infection, the strength of immune system is also important consideration. So we need to talk about things that are used to improve the strength of immune system. For this, we need to take balanced diet, we need to exercise and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Right? Now, what is this peculiar property of immune system? Whenever we are exposed for the first time, primary means first, whenever we are exposed to any infectious agent for the first time, then our immune system responds to it. But that response, which is called primary response, agent. Right? So this is time taking, and antibodies that are produced against that infectious agent are also less in number. So we can say that primary response is weak. But when next time the same infectious agent enters in our body, then our immune system, it already knows the structure of that infectious agent, so it will not waste time in trying to understand the structure and everything. So the response, the secondary response that happens on the second exposure or subsequent exposures is going to be very quick and stronger as compared to the primary response. And this, the strength of the secondary response, and why secondary response is stronger, than if you have understood this, then this is the basis of principles of immunization. Whenever vaccine is given, that is the primary, that first interaction of our body with that infectious agent, right? Then our body tries to understand the structure and all, then it makes antibodies. After vaccination, this is the usual process that takes place. Second time, when we are exposed to that particular infectious agent through different means of spread, then second response is going to be stronger. So there are less chances of us falling ill because of that exposure. If our body is not ready for the infectious agent, if we are not vaccinated, then what will happen? If we are exposed to the infectious agent not by vaccination but by natural exposure, like through water and air, then we cannot control the number of microbes entering in our body. The number can be very high, too high for our immune system to handle. Right? So result can be anything. Maybe our immune system will kill all microbes that will enter in our body, or maybe our immune system will not be able to fight with them. Right? So that is the basis of the principle of immunization, that vaccine is first given to introduce the body to that particular infectious agent, and second time when natural exposure takes place, then our body is ready to fight with that particular microbe. So this applies only to one type of microbe. Vaccine is given only for one type of microbe. It's not for many types of, or here you can see that taking this step will protect us from all types of airborne diseases. Yes, but taking one vaccine will protect us from only one type of microbe. That's why these methods are called general ways,